This is class 10 CBSE Economics Chapter 1 Development Part 3. In previous two videos, we learned about the definition of the development. Next, three aspects of the developmental goals. That is, different persons can have different developmental goals. Next one, development for one may not be development for the other. Then third one is mixed developmental of goals. Next, income and other goals. Apart from income, what are the other aspects, other goals? The next one is national development. Now, how to compare different countries or states? So, in what are the criteria? In what aspects we are compare one country to other countries and come to the general conclusion that countries are developed or underdeveloped or developing. You might ask if development can mean different things. Yes, different aspects development. Then how come some countries are generally called developed and others are underdeveloped? Before we come to this, let us consider another question. When we compare different things, they could have similarities as well as differences. Then only we can able to compare others. In which aspects do we use to compare them? So for these questions, let us look at students in the class itself. How do we compare different students? They differ in their height, health, talents and their interest. The healthiest student may not be the most studious one. That means most studying person. The most intelligent student may not be the friendliest one. So, how do we compare students? The criterion we may use depends on the purpose of the comparison. We use different criterion to choose a sports team. So, different students has the different skills. So, in what way we are compare the students? So, certain criteria are there. So, according to that, in what aspects we are choose the students? For example, choose a sports team, a debate team, a music team or a team to organize a picnic. To choose a sports team, for example a cricket team, if we want to form a cricket team, to choose the best students of the sports, we have to compare the sports skills of the students, their physical health, fielding criteria, batting criteria, bowling, keeping, fielding. These are the aspects, these are the criteria to choose a sports team. For a debate team, we use the debate skills. So, good valid points they have to give without any struck. There should not be no stage fear. These are the criteria. For a music team, vocal talent as well as the musical instrumental talents. Or a team to organize a picnic. So, management skills, organizing skills. So, these are the criteria we choose for the particular purpose. Still, yet for some purpose, we have to choose the criterion for the all-round progress of children in the class. How shall we do it? Usually we take one or more important characteristics for all-round progress of persons and compare them based on these characteristics. Of course, there can be differences about what are important characteristics that should form the basis of comparison. Like friendliness, a spirit of cooperation, creativity, or marks secured. These are the characteristics to compare the persons to choose for the certain purposes. This is true of development too. For the development aspects also, these are the criteria, it's true. For comparing countries, their income is considered to be the one of the most important attributes. Income, here income is national income, is one of the most important criteria for the comparing of the countries each other. Countries with higher income are more developed than others with less income. So this is based on the understanding that more income means more of all things that human being needs. Whatever people like, they are able to purchase, they are able to hold and should have, they will be able to get with greater income. So greater income itself is considered to be one important goal. So first main important criteria is national income, because through the national income only the humans of the country, they can get all the things, more things. So what are the basic even luxury items also they should have. So greater income itself is considered to be the one important goal. Now what is the income of a country? Intuitively, the income of the country is the income of all the residents of the country. So national income means the total income of the country, that is the total population's income. That one is known as national income. National income means all the residents, the income of all the residents of the country. Here resident means citizens of the country. This gives us the total income of the country. So all the population, all the citizens of the country, total income is known as the country's national income. However, for comparison between countries, total income is not such an useful measure. Since countries have different populations, comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn. Or people in one country better off than others in a different country. Hence, we compare the average income, which is the total income of the country divided by its total population. The average income is also called per capita income. For example, we'll take it as two countries, one is country A, another one is country B. In country A, there are 100 citizens are living there. That means total population of the country A is 100. But country B, it has the 25 citizens, that is total population is 25 persons. So if we compare for 100 persons, here that national income of this country A is, that means total income of the country A is 1000 rupees. For example, I am saying this 1000 rupees. For country B, national income, that is total income is 500 rupees. If we compare with the total income, we are not come to the conclusion the country A is the developed one and country B is the underdeveloped, because country A has the 100 population but country B has the 25 only the population of among that. To solve this thing, the comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn. So, are people in one country better off than others in the different country? That's what we compare the average income of the two countries. That means average income or per capita income means that is total income of that country divided by the total population of that country. It's known as per capita income. To calculate, we'll calculate the country A, that is per capita income or average income, that is total income. Total income is 1000 here and total population is 100. If we calculate, we are getting rupees 10. Then for the country B, if we calculate, that is total income is 500 and total population is 25. So we are getting that is 20. So here that per capita income is 20 rupees. So if we taken the national income alone to compare the country, so we made the conclusion as a country A is the developed than the country B. That's what we, to solve this problem, we are taken the per capita income. Here we say for because of the population is more in country A, that's what the per capita income is only rupees 10. For the country B, population is less than the country A, so they are getting the 20 rupees per each person. So according to this, if we made the conclusion, country B is the developed than the country A. In World Development Reports brought out by the World Bank, this criterion is used in classifying countries. Countries with per capita income of US dollar, actually in World Bank they are considering the income on the basis of US dollar only. Income of US dollar is 12,056 per annum, that is per year, and above according to the 2017 are called rich countries. And those with per capita income of US dollar 955 or less than that are called low income countries. India comes in the category of low middle income countries. India comes in the category of low middle income countries because its per capita income according to 2017 was just US dollar 1,820 per annum. That is above from the low income, that is above from the 955 and below from 12,056 per annum. So it is in between of these two criteria. That's what India comes under the category of low middle income. That is US dollar 1,820 per annum. The rich countries, excluding countries of Middle East, why they are excluding the Middle East countries? Middle East countries means Gulf countries. Why they are excluding means because these countries are rich countries because of the crude oil production, because of the oil wells. But according to the society level, if we check it, there is a huge gap of the rich and poor peoples. And also in society base also they are not that much developed. So that's what they exclude the Middle East countries and also other certain small countries because small countries hold the less population. So they are excluded from this criteria, from this list. So other countries apart from Middle East and certain other small countries are generally called developed countries. Next, here they given about the average income. With that one activity we learn from this average income. Average income means per capita income, both are same. While averages are useful for comparison, they also hide disparities. How we'll see this? For example, this is limitation of the average income. Let us consider two countries, that is A and B, that is country A and country B. For the sake of simplicity, we have assumed that they have only 5 citizens each. So there are two countries, we have to assume that to make it simple calculations to understand better. So we have country A and country B. For each countries have the equal citizens, that means equal population, that is 5 in number. Based on data given in table 1.2, calculate the average income for both the countries. First one, Monthly incomes of citizens in 2012 in rupees, they given here. Countries, country A, first person 9,500, second person 10,500, third person 9,800, fourth person 10,000 and fifth person 10,200. This is the monthly income of the citizens of country A. Next, country B, first person 500, second person 500, third person 500, fourth person 500 and fifth person is earning 48,000. So what is the average? For country A, average is, that is total income divided by that total population of the country, that is the average income or per capita income. So here country A, the total income is 50,000. So divided by 5, we are getting 10,000 average. Next, country B also the total income is 50,000, the average is 10,000. We are considering that both are equally as developed country? No, because in country A we have slighter differences only between the citizens, that is less gap between the rich and the poor. There is no huge gaps of there. But in country B, it's a very huge gap between the 4 citizens and the citizen of 5. So one citizen is earning 48,000, other citizens are earning 500 each. So if we choose which country you are like to live, means if I become a 5th person of the country B, surely I will choose the country B. If I become the 5th person. Otherwise I will choose, obviously majority of person choose the country A, because there is no that much of income difference between the citizens. Will you equally happy to live in both these countries or both equally developed? Because according to the per capita income, both are developed only, both are equal, both have the average income is 10,000. Perhaps some of us may like to live in country B. If we are assured to being its 5th citizen by if it is a lottery that decides our citizenship number, then perhaps most of us will prefer to live in country A. That what? If we become a 5th person of the country B, yes, obviously we choose country B. Otherwise we'll prefer country A only. Even though both the countries have identical average income, country A is preferred because it has more equitable distribution. Why we are preferring country A means there is no gap, huge gap between the rich and poor. Majority, their income is equitable distribution. In this country, people are neither very rich or extremely poor. On the other hand, most citizens in the country B are poor. All the 4 citizens are poor and one person is extremely rich. Hence, while average income is useful for comparison, it does not tell us how this income is distributed among people. Yes, average income is useful comparison of one country to other country, whether it is developed or underdeveloped, but it does not tell us how this income is distributed among the people. So if it is distributed with the few rich persons, so that country is not a developed country. So the distribution of income also, it should be equitable. Here they given the picture here, country with no rich and no poor. So we made the charts and we used them. So altogether made that all are using that. So equitable, there is no rich and no poor. Here second picture, see here the 4 chairs are using by that one person and 2 chairs are using by the 4 person. So here we made the charts and he took them. So country with rich and poor difference, huge difference in that country. So country A is the developed one, but country B is not considered as a developed country. Next topic is income and other criteria. Apart from income, what are the other criteria? Because previous topic to compare the each countries, we are taken the criteria, that is income, that is national income. Now, apart from income, what are the other criteria we are comparing with each other? Actually, here we are comparing with that states in India. When we looked at individual aspirations and goals, we found that people not only think of better income but also have goals. We already discussed in the video number 1, such as security, respect for others, equal treatment, freedom, etc. So apart from income, we have other certain goals as there, that is security, respect for others, equal treatment, freedom, etc. in mind. Similarly, when we think of a nation or a region, we may, besides average income, think of other equally important attributes, that is other aspects. What could these attributes be? What are their attributes? Let us examine this through an example. Table 1.3 gives the per capita income of Haryana, Kerala and Bihar. Here they given in the table states Haryana, Kerala and Bihar, and then per capita income of that particular state according to the 2015 and 16 in rupees. Haryana has 1,62,064 rupees, Kerala 1,40,190 rupees and Bihar 31,454 rupees. Actually, these figures are of per capita net state domestic product. This is per capita net state domestic product. That means the total income of the state divided by the total population of the particular state. At current prices for 2015 and 16, let us ignore what this complicated term exactly means. Roughly, we can take it to be the per capita income of the state. We find that of the three, Haryana has the highest per capita income and Bihar is at the bottom. This means that on an average, a person in Haryana earned rupees 1,62,034 in 1 year, whereas on average, a person in Bihar earned only around 31,454 rupees. So, if per capita income were to be used as the measure of development, Haryana will be considered the most developed and Bihar is the least developed. If we taken the per capita income for the comparing the measurement of the development, Haryana is the most developed and Bihar is the least developed state of the three. Now, let us look at certain other data pertaining of these states given in the table 1.4. Here table 1.4, some comparative data on Haryana, Kerala and Bihar. Here state Haryana, Kerala, Bihar given. Next, first one is infant mortality rate per 1000 live births, that is according to the 2016. Next one is literacy rate percentage according to the 2011 census record. Next one is net attendance ratio per 1000 persons, that is secondary level of stage, that is age 14 and 15 years, that is according to 2013 and 14. Before we entering into that, we will see the meaning or explanation of the three aspects. First one is infant mortality rate or otherwise IMR. Indicates that number of children that die before the age of 1 year as the proportion of 1000 live children born in that particular year. One particular year, the birth of the 1000 children, how many children, the number of children died before attaining or before complete the 1 year of the age. That is before 1 year the child dies. That one is known as infant mortality rate. Why the child died? Because of the lack of health cares, health facilities, because of the lack of health facilities. Next one is literacy rate, measures that proportion of literate people or literate population in the 7 and above age group. So 7 and above age group, so 7 years and above 7 years of old, how many persons, how many children literate? How many persons become literate? Next one is net attendance ratio, is the total number of children of age group 14 and 15 years of children attending school as the percentage of total number of children in the same age group. So the total same age group person, that is 14 and 15 years old, in that how many children belongs to 14 and 15 years of age group are attending the school, that percentage is known as net attendance ratio. Here you see Haryana, infant mortality, that is IMR is 33, literacy rate is 82, then net attendance ratio is 61%. Kerala 10, 94 literacy rate and 83 net attendance ratio. Bihar 38, literacy rate is 62 and net attendance ratio is 43. So if we compare this criteria for the developed or underdeveloped state, so obviously we choose Kerala is the developed state. Then least developed it obviously Bihar, because infant mortality rate is higher than the other two and literacy rate is very lower than the other two, and also net attendance ratio also lower than other two states. What does this table show? The first column of the table shows that in Kerala, out of 1000 children born, 12 died. Actually, according to the table, this data is wrong. They given that table as 10 here, died before completing 1 year of age, but in Haryana the proportion of children dying within 1 year of birth was 36. So according to the table data is 33. Please change it, which is 2 times more than that of Kerala. On the other hand, the per capita income of Haryana is more than that of Kerala, is shown in the table 1.3. Just think of how dear you are to your parents. Think of how everyone is so happy when a child is born. Now try to think of parents whose children die before they even celebrate their first birthday. It's very sad. How painful it must be to these parents. Next, note the year to which this data pertains. It is 2016. So we are not talking of old times, long back. It is nearly 70 years after independence, when our metro cities are full of high-rising buildings and shopping malls. So the problem does not end with infant mortality rate. The last column of table 1.4 shows around half of the children aged between 14 and 15 in Bihar are not attending school beyond class 8. This means that if you want to school in Bihar, nearly half of your elementary class would be missing. So those who could have been in school are not there. If this had happened to you, you would not be able to read what you are reading now. So these are the other criteria which is compared with other states. So apart from the per capita income, there are other criteria also is there, that is infant mortality rate, literacy rate and net attendance ratio. So in next part, next video, we learn about the public facilities. Until then, thank you.